Happy Monday, everybody. Make sure you share this live. This is going to be a tough one. I decided to, the B Roll's coming, actually. I do love that song. But I wanted to talk about something that's very important. Of course, if you're in the church world, you know there have been a lot of prophecies saying that tomorrow will be the rapture. And if you are in any Pentecostal church or anything, you know what the rapture is. This is not me saying if the rapture is real or not. You can go back to my past lives. I actually talked about it. Maybe I'll talk about it again. It won't happen tonight. But I just think it's important for those of us who actually are in church. We should actually take the time out to read the scriptures and see what it says. But one scripture that definitely gets in my mind that says, no man know, no man knoweth the day, the hour. If we can go even further, minute, second, millisecond, on when the Lord will return. We all don't know that. So all of these prophets online saying that the rapture is going to happen, then if it should happen, then it goes against the scripture that we all were taught and pretty much encouraged, sometimes really encouraged to read. It's important, people. Do your own research, read the scriptures, ask the Spirit to give you what it's exactly saying or lead you to commentaries, whatever you need to help you study the scriptures or history, because this rapture thing is tied to history as well. And so it's 2025, people. There's no reason why we should be so ignorant on some of these topics. Do I believe the rapture is happening tomorrow? Here's the answer for you. I don't know. And neither do you. Yeah, happy Monday, everybody. And if it's a Monday, usually means that I'm live. And I'm happy to be live. And I'm happy to be alive. Last week I didn't go live because it was my birthday week and I wanted to celebrate a great birthday that I had. My wife took me out, took me in shopping and everything else that you would want on your birthday. It was a great birthday. And most importantly, I was able to rest, which is something that this person doesn't do a lot of these days. And especially around this time where there's so many concerts everyone wants to have and put on, recording to prepare for, actually a couple, and it's becoming very, very busy for me. But it was great last week to celebrate, and I want to thank everybody that wished me a happy birthday. Woo! This fan is blowing in my ear, my face. Hey, Janetta, you cold. What did she say? I don't know what she meant. No meat. But here's the thing. When I didn't go live last week, it was actually a blessing in disguise because so many things happened. And my emotions kind of were all over the place because I was dealing with anger, frustration, and the reason why is because I cannot believe we are still here 10 years later dealing with some of the things that we're dealing with. And one of the things that I've been hearing in the political realm is the left or the central, I call myself central, you're hateful. You're hateful. You're hateful. You're hateful. And that's what we've heard from the right. And then at the memorial service that they aired, I don't know why, since when, and I'm not going at the dude, but since when do people who just do podcasting get this bit of hoopla? Martin Luther King should never be in contrast or just juxtaposed with this guy. They're not the same. But everything that happened, now you got memorial service where the president of the United States is speaking at a podcaster. And they're going to try to make a holiday for this guy. I can't believe this. But everybody's saying, oh God, the left Intro to be. Oh, my bad. Yeah, everybody's saying the left is so hatred. Well, let's talk about hatred.
I want to reach them and try and lead them into a great way of life in our country. In that private moment on his dying day, we find everything we need to know about who Charlie Kirk truly was. He was a missionary with a noble spirit and a great, great purpose. He did not hate his opponents. He wanted the best for them. That's where I disagreed with Charlie. I hate my opponent, and I don't want the best for them. I'm sorry. I am sorry, Erica. But now Erica can talk to me and the whole group, and maybe they can convince me that that's not right, but I can't stand my opponent.
So, this is my issue for the conservative Christian right. You continuously tell us time and time again that this guy has been sent by God or he's God's anointed. But he speaks in this manner and totally destroys your argument about love and we should be more civil and we should love each other and forgive. But then he gets up there and he says stuff like this. And who you think they're going to listen to? Are they going to listen to Kirk's wife or are they going to listen to this guy? There are only two types of Trump supporters. And you ready? And I'm going to say this and I stand 10 toes. Either the incredibly rich, well, it's actually three. The incredibly rich, the incredibly crooked, and the incredibly stupid. And if you're not rich and you don't have the money to be crooked, then it kind of only leaves one lane for you. And that's the stupid lane. Because you believe this stuff. We supposed to love and everything else. But when George Floyd died, ain't this the person that kind of went at him? He said Martin Luther King was a horrible person. I'm so confused. That's why I was frustrated. Last week, I'm glad I didn't go live. And I'm glad I'm live today, but I really, really want to rip these people to shreds. But I'm not going to. Because a few months down, you're going to be crying. Amen. And you said CNN talked about it. Yeah. And that's another thing, because all of these news medias, all of these news syndicates, they're in the pocket. We literally got black politicians voting yes for Charlie Kirk Day. Are we insane? That's why I feel like sometimes I'm like, what are we doing? See, back in the day, most of the blacks stuck together when there was a threat to us. Giving this guy a holiday or a special day is pretty much a slap in the face for every black person that he insulted. He pretty much called us stupid, pretty much said we don't have the mental capacity to do high-end jobs. He berated Martin Luther King. He was a despicable person. I'm not happy he's dead, but I'm surely not going to give him a holiday. It just makes no sense to me. But anyway, I saw another post today, and I kind of want to touch on it real fast. Those of you who know me know I've been tuning to A on the bass for a while. And this guy says, I like Shine. He's a very good bass player. You should actually go follow him. But he said, so bass players, is everyone tuning down to A flat now? I'm going back down to G. I'm sick of this. Well, I think he was joking. Hopefully he's joking. Do not tune back to G. But I'm trying to understand. Since I've been tuning to A, I'm trying to understand what benefit it has for me. Obviously, the tension is better, but just buy better strings. Buy better strings. They cost a lot, but you're gonna pay for it. But buy better strings if you like the tension to be looser. But A does have some benefits. It does. I did the last record we did in A. It's an adjustment, especially now when you dealing with, people that like to talk on the mic, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And I'm sitting up here like, okay, I'm tuned way off. In my brain, I'm still trying to get used to it. Now, numbers I got. Calling out the letters or the keys, kind of a little sketchy right now because I'm not used to playing in A, and as far as knowing my notes. I know them relatively. I did a gig with Curtis Lindsay last week, and we were in rehearsal, and the song was in B, And so it begins with the bass doing the doo. Man, I hit that B flat so hard, pause, because I was tuned to A and I was a half step off. So Russell Harris turns around, looks at me, Curtis looks at me, and I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. So the night of the concert, I made sure space D, not dot, space. I'll slow down Sundays now that I know you tuned out. No, I mean you don't have to. I mean it's great for me to keep this mind of mine sharp. But it is different because like I've been playing B flat since for a while, longer than you've actually been alive, Russ. I've been playing B flat. So for me to go to A is just a little different. But I haven't noticed any difference as far as like just a couple of notes lower. Going to A flat though, is this what we doing? Like, it reminds me of a video, right? Of this dude. He was saying, like I say, how low you trying to go? And I feel like the dude in this video, man, for real.
What are you about to do?
I'm about to roll up.
You rolling another one?
Yeah.
Oh. Why? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Why?
Oh. I mean, I don't think it's necessary.
Nigga, you about to cry?
No. I mean, I'm already high. How much higher are you trying to get?
This boy high.
Yeah, take me home.
Let's go.
Because I feel like that. I'm like, how much lower? How much lower?
How much lower are you trying to go? I'm trouble. How much lower can you take this bass? It's supposed to be a bass, but don't you think you're kind of pushing it? Tuning to A flat, bro? Or G? Let's just come back to normal C.
And tune it the way it's supposed to be. B flat, baby. I give you B flat, that's B. You start going down to A flat, G, then G flat. You can't hear that. What are we, Thundercats now? That's what it's gonna sound like. No clarity. And the last thing, if you're playing on a Fender jazz bass, it has 34 frets. Those of you who know about bass, you know what I'm saying. How in the world you gonna tune that bass that low without that wobble going on? That's what I'm confused on. Not to judge you, create, but make it make sense for me. Only thing I'm hearing is, and everybody, ooh, I feel you. Yeah, but that's it. We just feel you. We just feel you. That's crazy. Anyway, y'all know I play in Chicago, right? And Chicago is a very, very tough place to play. When you come to Chicago, you're dang there, you need to be ready. I'm just going to say that. You need to be ready. Chicago's tough. It's a tough place to play. And Thad Johnson left this post. Well, let me blow this up so you can actually see it. You're about to see me do some edits. Here we go. All right. He said, as a Chicagoan, Chicago is tough because everybody already a celebrity in their head. So it's a must that you come out swinging. Also, you can never do tracks in my city. Bring a band and they better be hitting hard. Pause. Thad, I couldn't agree with you more. I have yet to see somebody come into Chicago and bring tracks and actually did well. I have yet to see it. Not to say it hasn't happened. I said I have yet to see it. And I've been to countless, concerts and recordings and whatever where tracks were played, and they almost all the time sat there and looked at you like you lost your mind. I'm like, you just can't make this shift up. You literally got people looking in the audience. No, that's not what I want. But yeah, that happens after the concert. But no, they literally look at you and say, like, and Chicago and New York are the worst. LA will get with you. Texas, definitely. Houston, Dallas. You start to get to Miami, Florida, they just want to party. Most of them drunk, but they get with you. Orlando, they kind of get with you. Tampa, definitely church. You start to get over there to, let's think of some other places. Midwest, we church, except for Chicago. Chicago is Memphis, they definitely gonna get with you. Mississippi, do some knee slapping, they gonna get with you. Charlotte, they gonna get with you. Go to Virginia, they gonna get with you for the most part. But Chicago, whew, Chicago ain't no joke. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because Chicago has some of the best talent in the world as far as musicianship, singers, writers, producers, engineers. We have some of the best of all of that. And that's why you come to Chicago, you most likely haven't done anything that we haven't seen. You most likely haven't done anything that's going to make us be like, oh my God, it's world breaking. The only ones that do well, like he said, ones that bring a hard-hitting band and people that are creative beyond our understanding sometimes. When Ty Tribbett came to Chicago, when they was in their heyday, they did well, but that's GA, that's Ty Tribbett. You know, some artists can come here and do well, but most, when you come up in Chicago, you gotta bring it. But I will say this to encourage you. Yeah, Detroit, nah. Detroit is a little different. Detroit kind of, this is just my opinion. Detroit will go hard for their own. Like if their own, they'll get with you. When we did our recording, Keep Living in Detroit, they sat on us so hard that they butt cheeks had lint in there from the chairs. They literally was grabbing the bottom of the chairs to push it up on their butt so they could say harder. Like for real. But the second Dorinda got up there, Karen got up there to do, what was that name of that song? Sweetest Name. The second she got up there, oh, they was up. They were up. You know, we was singing our hearts out. When we did Strange, they was like, yeah, that's cute. But when we got to the end, that's when they started getting there. It's weird that in Detroit, Chicago don't give a who you are. They really don't. If they not feeling you, they go sit there. We did our recordings there, and one recording, when we did, what recording was that? Unplugged. Go back and look at Take Me Back. Go back and look. It's on YouTube. Go look at Take Me Back. You're going to see Ricky turn around, look at the audience, and clap with a frown on his face. You want to know why? Because they was just standing there. That's Chicago. If you can do well in Chicago, I promise you, then you are legit cold. For real. Chicago, you got to bring your A game. You got to prepare, and you got to be able to read the room. Chicago is a training ground. It is, because you got to be able to read the room. You got to be on your A game, and you just got to be something that they haven't seen before. Good luck with that. But you have to do this in order to succeed in Chicago overall. And that goes for gospel, that goes for R&B, that goes for death metal, rock, bluegrass. It don't matter. Chicago is just that city. They all are like that no matter what the genre is. I'm sorry to tell you. What's up, man? Yo, bro, I was there. It was crazy. Yeah, and Chicago, let me tell you this. Chicago does not care. They will listen, when I said they sit on anybody, they don't care if it's a child, a baby christening, your grandmother missing 3 legs. They don't care. They will sit on you. For real, they will sit on you. That's just the way it is there. And so a lot of people come to Chicago. I hate going to Chicago. I like it. Hold my beer. I'm up for the challenge. Every time I step into Chicago, I mean, they consider me to be one of them now, and I'm happy now. But when I first was starting coming to Chicago from Indiana, I was like, well, I don't want them to give me that. I want to earn my place. I want to earn your respect. I want you to say, hey, that dude from Indiana, but that dude cold. That's what I kind of wanted. I didn't want them to just worship me or be on my team because they heard I was playing for Ricky Dillard. I didn't want that. I wanted them to respect me because I had the skill. And I felt, even coming up, If Chicago cats can respect me and welcome me in, then I'm actually doing something, because them niggas not gonna lie to you. Oh, I'm sorry. Them Negroes are not gonna lie to you. If they, well, some of them will. But the ones that I really, really respect, they don't. And their actions will speak. Their actions will speak. And it's not to be, I know some of you looking and say it's clickage is wrong, but you can't just walk up off the street and join Omega Psi Phi. You can't walk up out the street and join Alpha Phi Alpha. You got to earn that respect. And the only way you earn that respect, you got to do pretty much what they did. You got to walk that line. You got to take that. And then when you earn their respect, once you in, you win. That's just the way it works. That's just the way it works. And guess what, people? I know some of you want this microwavable success. That's the way it should be. Earn it. Earn that respect. Your plan, that's great. Earn it. So if you can get that in Chicago, bring your choirs. Those of you who have choirs, you have groups, keep bringing them. Keep bringing them to Chicago. And if you are good, and you can learn, take what you jacked up, because that's what usually happens, go back and refine it and keep coming back. And trust me, if you can make it here, then you are prepared for where the industry is going to take you. But I got something to say to you gospel artists later. Anyway, I saw the cutest thing in the world, man. I work in childcare, and often I see these kids doing some crazy stuff. They'll be like, how did that child think of that? I saw something today, and it made preachers going wild, but it's not wild. I want you guys to enjoy this. It's crazy.
Have the Holy Ghost.
Baby, can I have some water?
For the Sabbath see the rest of him. Someone help me do. The angel proud. Holy. Y'all get to sing that song. Sing it. The angel proud. I shall holy. The angel proud. I shall. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
I think that's cute. I think that's cute. I love to see children, so passionate about the stuff that they love. Like, they really, really toss it. I get it. Thank you, baby. So I love when children actually are in their own element, and they can, trust me, their imagination. To that child, that room was packed, even though he had one member. Some of y'all real pastors only got one member, but that's a whole nother conversation. But he only had one member, but in his mind, he saw tons of people up in that room. The child's mind, I'm learning more and more every day, and I'm learning that this is where I'm supposed to be, working with children, at least in some capacity in my life. But to see how they move, to see how they think, their imaginations is endless. And I was really, really not brought to tears, but it made me extremely happy to see a child doing this. He had his own. Now, I think I told y'all about that. When I was 3 years old, I preached my first message. I got up there, I was supposed to do an Easter speech, and I jumped up there, had my blue suit on. I thought I was clean. I got up there and preached at 3 years old. So this was me. This was probably another reason why I was like, oh, this is great. Oh, this is great. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, I thought this was great, man. I thought y'all would enjoy that. Now we saw the good child. Now let's see the bad ones.
I'll prove it by giving to him and to his kingdom and to his work. And we thank you for all your blessings in this city. We pray for the city of Maui.
Praise God.
We like the cycle. Oh, I got another one. Another guy loose. Her sister getting loose. Steve, what you gonna do about that one? My sister, they all got loose. Oh yeah, I like the tackle. Get it out. Get the tackle. In the tackle of the century.
To be continued. Listen, if that would have been me, I don't know if I would have made it to the next service. My mom, woo-wee. My butt hurting right now just thinking about what she would have done to me. And no, that wasn't a high top fade Cimarron. I think at that age, I still had a little all fro going on. I had my little edges right here that need to be pushed back and all that stuff. Nah, it wasn't the clean cut. High. My fade was crisp though. It was high, but it was crisp. It wasn't Kid and Play high though, but it was a nice little whatchamacallit. But yeah, that was the bad kid. That was the bad kid. But now, I need to talk about something real fast, real quick. When did it become okay to start pouring oil on people's head? Oil. Like when I was coming up, they just took a little dab, put it on your forehead as a cross sometimes, and they prayed for you, right? Now they tried to push you down, but they still tried to pray for you. We're getting out of hand with this oil stuff. And I saw possibly the most plausible oil thing that I've ever seen in my life. Check this out. I had music, but it was from, I didn't want to be copyright strike again. But it was music playing, what was it? The song it was Anointing Fall on Me. But it was the original version. It wasn't the praise team singing it. At first I thought it was, but no, it was the original. Not the Ron Canoli or the what was his name? The one that did Azusa Street. What's his name? Carlton Pearson's version. No, it was the real, the old version. And I didn't want, YouTube or Facebook saying, hey, you use this, whatever. But when I saw this, I was like, you literally blowing on this dude's head, pause, rubbing on it like that, pause. And what's going on? Is this okay? Let me say this. Before you think to douse my head with oil, think it through. Because this one right here, it's not. We don't need to do all of that, man. Like, at least tell me. Be like, hey, I want to use you today, and I'm going to pour a whole lot of oil on you. So I can wear a t-shirt or wear a shirt from Walmart or something like that I don't really care about. Because if I come in one of my nice outfits and you go pouring oil like that on my head, that's not going to be good. Think before y'all do this stuff. It's the grease for the... Oh, my God. You said the grease... And this dude said no power. Really? Is that a holy threesome? Oh, Lord. It might as well be. It might as well be. But speaking of threesome, what y'all think about this?
Hear the chains falling.
Do you hear it? Do you hear it? Can you hear the chains falling? I hear it. Do you hear it? Get up on your feet. Do you hear it? He can break every chain. He can break the chain of lying. He can break the chain of stealing. He can break the chain of homosexuality. I hear the chain. If somebody can tell me what that is, I'll be happy. Please tell me what happened here. When I was coming up in church, they would say, when you introduce yourself too much, the real you is going to be seen and nobody's going to be blessed. I never know what that meant, the real you. But it just seemed like you just pretty much took over this lady's song. And by the time we got done, nobody was edified. Nobody was encouraged. They all was pretty much looking like, you good? Like, I'm pretty sure she got a lot of text messages at the end of the service. You good, sis? You good? Like, what is, like... And my thing is, if you are a pastor, I believe my friend Simran, he's here. You are a pastor. What do you do in that situation? When you have two people literally having Mortal Kombat vocal situations in your choir stand, what do you do? I'm confused. Help me out. My pastor friends, my preacher friends, my leaders, what do you do in that situation where you got two people literally battling it out in the choir stand? What do you do? Oh, God. They came to Chicago. Lord, here we go. As a musician or choir director, you don't cut this. That's what I'm saying. Like, at what point do you just say, hey, y'all, that's enough? That's enough. Like, what are we doing? And to me, I ain't never been one to say you and your flush. They say flesh but back in the day, they'd be like, you and your flush. Your flush. And I can't help but think of a toilet bowl. But they would say you and your flesh because it just seemed like it was about you. I don't know, but that's what I got from this. I got that it was somebody up here just trying to take over. Get up on your feet. Why? We talking about break every chain. Why can't I just sit and listen to what you say? Why do I need to get up on my feet at this point? What are we doing? You said they jacked that song up. Yes, they did. Sound man, mute the mic. You know, there's a lot of power in muting the mic, actually. Courtney Sinclair, you're a pastor. What do you do in this situation? You're a pastor. You see this happening in your church. What do you do? What do you do? That's my question. What do you do? But now I'm about to shift. Talk about my musician friends. I'm just hoping what I'm about to show you ain't what I'm about to tell you on the other side. But y'all check this out. It's not very long. It's actually a couple of seconds. But check this out. Tell me what you think. I'm going to play that one more time so you can see it. Okay. I don't know this young man, so please, if you know him, I'm not going at anybody. But I want to know, I'm praying that this is a rehearsal. That's what I'm saying. I'm praying that this is a rehearsal. But make no mistake about it, to my musician friends, I have seen some of you walk your dusty tail up in the church wearing an outfit just like this on a freaking Sunday morning. Now, I know y'all want to dress come as you are and stuff like that, but not knowing him, I'm talking about you that would come up in church on a Sunday morning dressed like this. This is for you. This is unacceptable. This is unacceptable for Sunday morning. It really is. And I'm from the school of thought as a man, you're supposed to present yourself decent. This looked like you just rolled out of bed and just showed up to church. Now, I don't know him. This could very well be a rehearsal. So please, before y'all get messy, I ain't talking about him. I'm talking about the musicians that would show up on Sunday morning dressed this way. Now, if he dressed the church like this on Sunday morning, then this is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. You don't dress like this for Sunday morning. Why not? Because this doesn't even look like you even took the time to shower. It looked like you just rolled out of bed and threw on a t-shirt that don't even match with the shorts, don't match with the socks, and don't match with the shoes, and you rolled up in church. That's the first thing. Second thing, what is it with the moving of the chair? What is with the moving of the chair? Now I'm talking about him. And he can, if you have a problem with me putting you out here like this, then we can really have a discussion. But this is unacceptable. Listen, I'm gonna turn this off. Carry ourselves as professionals all the time. When you are at your instrument, when you are in front of people, carry and present yourself as a professional every time. If your church allows t-shirts and jeans, then you wear the cleanest jeans and t-shirts you can find. If they allow that, be clean, at least look like it, match. I've seen too many of you walk up in church just looking any old kind of way. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable as a professional, and it's unacceptable as a man. As a man, you're supposed to carry yourself in a certain way. You can't want these people to take you seriously when you don't take it seriously yourself. You look a mess. Stop it. It's unacceptable. And don't get mad because this one right here gonna call you out. What's this you got on? I'm gonna call you out. Why? Because I expect better from you as a man. I don't get in your personal life. That's your business. But when you come before people and you stand before people and you at least look away, look decent, look clean, smell clean. Y'all want women? Most women, you know, the bottom feeders, they don't care how you look or smell. But the women that matter, they actually do. So if your end goal is to get women, what kind of women you getting? The ones that your friends are smashing at the same time or the ones that are worth it? So make it make sense for me. The pass arounds don't count. Those don't count. Anybody can do that. Not hard to do. But the ones that matter, they want you looking and smelling a certain way. Now I'm about to show this video and then I'm going to move on.
Y'all hear me? Faith sustains us in uncertainty. There is no way I can live without you. I've tried over and over, but I found out there is no other way. Is no other way. Is no other way. Yeah. Y'all supposed to be playing now. What's up? There is no way I can live without you. Now, next time I want y'all to go on YouTube and see what I do.
Now, a lot of people were ripping up Dorinda for this. I don't rip her up. And yes, I agree. You got to bring your own musicians. I agree. That part I agree on. Bring your own musicians. But when you know you don't have musicians and you are there to play, then play the best of your ability. Let's play this one more time. Simran, you a nut for this, by the way. And I did wear choir robes. I'm going to tell you at what point he should have been there. Y'all ready?
Y'all hear me? Faith sustains
Pause, by the way.
us in uncertainty. There is no way.
In now. This is the time to be in. When she got to there is no way, you may not have perfect pitch, but you got to find it. If you got to do that old school way, but you got to be there. You have to be there then. As a professional musician in church, this is the standard. When she got to there is no way, after she said that, you should have been there. You got to be there at that point.
I can live without you.
This is too long. She should not have finished that whole thing without you in the note. Like, you got to be there. And this is not me going at you. I don't even know who at the organ, and I don't really care. This is just a lesson for all of us. When you on the organ or keys and somebody's there to preach and they go into a song, you have to be there. Should she have brought her own musician? Absolutely. But being as though she didn't and you are on the instrument, now guess what? This is your responsibility. And you have to be there. This is a church service. This ain't your family picnic. You have to be there. That's like, I don't understand why that's even an argument. It was a whole discussion on this. No. When she did that, you should be there. At this point, I would have had my ear on the bass. By the time she got there, I would have been there. You'd have heard bass if I was there. You'd heard a bass player playing. But see, I love my musicians that I work with on a Sunday. It's a great thing because most of them got perfect pitch or relative pitch. They would have been there. And I think that's what it should be. You pretty much left her out here by herself, and that wasn't sweet.
I've tried over over. But I found out there is no other way.
Unacceptable. Unacceptable. You should.
Is no other way. Is no other way. Yeah, 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 yeah. Y'all supposed to be playing now. What's up? There is no way I can live without you. Now, next time I want y'all to go on YouTube and see what I do.
And she right. When you know the musician's not coming, pause. And this is gonna sound crazy to you. When I know I have to play for a preacher or something like that, I at least go and research them. And I see what they do. I see how they flow. I try to follow what they doing because I want to be prepared. Here's the crazy thing. That's still Dorinda. That's still Dorinda. And you kind of want that opportunity to make a good name for yourself, because whereas she may not call you, but you always want somebody to be like, hey, he played for me at the church. He dope. Give him a chance. But see, now because of that, she's not going to forget that. And so, like somebody said, like Ernest said, it's your responsibility, but it's also an opportunity. It really is. And I think sometimes we squander, as musicians, church musicians, gospel musicians, a lot of opportunities we squander because we don't step up to the plate when we should. We always begging for opportunities, but opportunities in our field, they don't come like you think they do. I tell y'all all the time, my opportunity came at a midnight musical playing for my brother. Then I'm at Value City and I get a call to go overseas. You see what I'm saying? It don't work like you think it does. Now, nepotism plays a part. Somebody puts you on, but they still gonna want to know what you about. And I just think that sometimes we squander these opportunities. But even when you get put on, then what? See, pull up a chair, ladies and gentlemen, because it's time for me to finally have a very strong heart-to-heart with both the artists and the musicians. Because in gospel music, I was a little bit disturbed last week. I was. Because I've dedicated my life to gospel music. I could have played any other genre I wanted to. I could have. I could have been out here playing R&B, pop, touring, But I decided to play gospel music. That was my choice. Now, I knew it wasn't much money in it. I knew it. Going in, I knew. But there are some things that are happening and have happened and has been allowed to happen for a long, long time. And I think it's time to have a discussion. Now, this is in no way attacking any gospel artist. If you're going to be offended by what I'm saying, then maybe you should find something else, because you can't have an entity and people just take what you put out and you're supposed to be acceptable. We have voices. We have opinions. We have thoughts. We have feelings. And sometimes we see the way the world is moving and we want to do something different. We want to keep up because, after all, our Father's rich in houses and land. And I think sometimes when I look at the way gospel music and the church industry works, and especially gospel music, I'm going to specifically talk about gospel touring and gigging musicians tonight. And I think it's very discouraging to the generation under me and the generation under them. When my time is done on earth and done playing, I kind of want the ones that come up behind me, pause, to have something that they can say, hey, this is great to do. This is great. We can never compete with the other artists in pop and R&B financially per gig. But there are some things that I think is long overdue being done, for real. And I'm going to talk about that tonight. So you might want to tag your artist that you play for with this video, with this part of it, because we're going to have, and yeah, the chalkboard is here for a reason. We're going to learn some stuff tonight. Now, let me give this disclaimer real quick. If you are the quote unquote professional musician that can't watch your aspiration, you showing up late, you don't learn songs, you're a pain to deal with, you're unprofessional, you rude, you just don't, you want to run through everybody in the choir, you can't control your nuts, then this conversation is not for you. It's not, because you've shown yourself to not even be able to handle this conversation. Get your act together first and then have this conversation. Show up on time, show up prepared, show up doing what you're supposed to do. Then this conversation can be for you. Period. Because there's too much of that going on and I'm seeing it. It's discouraging, it's disrespectful. It's the most egregious thing you can do with a talent that you said God gave you, but you don't even want to be a good steward of it over it, doing what you should do. This conversation ain't for you. In fact, I would probably be shocked to see you on any of these stages because you don't deserve it. Your talent may get you there, but I can guarantee you it won't sustain you because you're not ready. So this conversation is not for you. But for my other musicians, you show up on time, you do what you're supposed to do, you go above and beyond. I have some things I need to say in defense of you. To my artists, you have musicians that have been faithful to you, that have turned down other gigs, turned down other opportunities to stay with you, ran up and down the streets with you when you was on your grind. Now you here or where you think you want to be, and you think that they your little stumping rugs. That needs to change. These people most likely have helped you get to where you are. And to be that disrespectful to them in the way that I've seen the disrespect, that needs to stop. And the only thing saving you is two things. Most of them are not in the union, and there will always be a snot-nosed, running-nosed, clout-chasing child that want to play for $125 for a gig that should pay $600. That's the only thing saving you. Because if all these gospel musicians stuck together and unified, you would not be able to pull some of this bullshit you've been pulling. Seriously. It's unacceptable the way you treat these gospel musicians and singers, but I'm a musician. I'm talking to my people right now. So I saw a post and I talked about it before. And I was like, I said something different, but I had like an epiphany. And it happens even at my age. I have an epiphany. I'm like, oh, wait. This is something I need to really, really think about. And when I tell you, when it almost hit me like a ton of bricks, like when I went and got my degrees. The same way I was sitting and it just hit me like a ton of bricks. My wife can attest to it. She saw my whole disposition change. My whole energy changed because it all hit me like this. What did I do when it hit me when I was sitting on the couch after giving myself to help people and build them up and doing all this for nickels and dimes? I got off my aspirations and I did something about it. I went and got my degrees and now I'm okay. I'm still growing. Me and my wife, we doing other things with more business ventures and everything else. But I went out and did something about it. I kind of want to do it now again, but in a different way. My mode is switching and you'll hear about it later. But I do want to touch on some stuff. And I want to teach on the bare minimum that I think gospel gigging musicians should get from artists. The bare minimum. Now, some of these going to be outlandish. We could talk about it. You may think. But it's a reason why I'm saying it. It's a reason why I'm saying it. And I explain everything about it. The first thing. Now, let me say this again. I'm not attacking you artists. I know some of you really on your grind. But you got to consider this stuff. Even if you just put it in your back pocket for when you get there. Okay? Let me first say this. It ain't even in my list. Consider what it took for said musician to play for you. If this musician is a well-known, well-known musician and you don't have a relationship with this said musician, then don't call him saying, oh, I need you to drive to the other side of Chicago for $100. It don't work like that for them because people in that level, they're not leaving the house for anything less than two. And I'm talking about the church sector right now. You got a gig at Sister Bobby Joe Rush's church and you got to sing. Don't call that musician unless you got a relationship with him. Because if you got a relationship with him, what that mean? That relationship, that means I know you, we fellowship, I got you, we cool. And you find that a lot of us will do that. I'm one. I'll come out and play for you for, not for 100, but you get what I'm saying. I'll cut you a deal. No more $100 gigs though. If you can't afford a musician, do tracks. And I said in Chicago, that could be a death sentence, but you can't afford the musicians. And I wish the youngins would stop getting pimped because this is the only way it's going to change. It's the only way it's going to change. If somebody turned down the gig because they couldn't afford it, don't you take it because nothing will ever change. That's just me saying it. If you can't afford a musician, don't go or charge more because sometimes you as the artist getting pimped. You go into this church, they say, oh, we only got $500. You walk into the church seating $3 million. But they only can give you $500? Who you gonna pay with $500? You better do like Yolanda Adams. Better take your keyboard player and roll. I'm not trying to upset you. I'm hoping that we can do this and do better. That's all I want. I want you to get the best musician you can get, but I want you to have musicians that's not going to be sitting up and looking at you sideways because you can't afford to pay them. Nah, we ain't doing that. We just cannot. We can't afford to do that. So let me move this footer for a second because I'm going to be posting some of your comments. All right? First things first. We want better lodging. We tired of putting 6, 7 of us in the room. Don't take us to the Best Western and you sleeping in the country, whatever, inn with jacuzzis and holes in the floor. We want better lodging. It's really that simple. Better lodging. I'm going to post that again. Better lodging. Don't put 5,000 of us in the room. That's unacceptable. Now, I understand when you got to acquire, you have more moving parts to house. It's not out of the question to put 2 in a room. But don't just throw us together. I need to know this dude. You gonna put me in with some dude that's gonna be a kleptomaniac? Is this what we doing? Don't put a lot of dudes in the room. And then you got to understand, y'all, and I'm not trying to be mean. You got to understand I'm trying to do this delicately. I really am. Some of you have men in your choir that, they don't like women. They don't. I'm not one to judge you. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? But there are some musicians that do. You can't put those men in the room with some of these musicians. It's going to be a problem. That's not me being a homophobe. Y'all know I'm not. I've marched for their rights. I marched for them. So I put my life on the line to march for their rights. There were police out there. It could have got nasty. So don't ever come at me and say I'm a homophobe. But there are some musicians that don't want to be in a room with them. They don't feel comfortable. No differently to them than you putting one of them in the room with one of your women. That's how they feel. They don't feel comfortable laying in a room, showering, being bucket naked with a man that may want to look at them in a certain way. And they're okay to think that way. This is 2025. You can't never deny that. You can't deny that. Just so I'm keeping it 100. I'm trying to help you. Some of y'all be trying to do that. It's not going to work. Stop. Absolutely. Yeah, this matters too. If I'm there, listen, if I am there already, if I'm there already and the gig is happening and they say, "Hey D, do you know such and such and such a chances are I do know it, especially if it's a choir song. I most likely will know it. Hey, can you sit in with us real quick? Yeah, I do it. Whatever. But when I'm saying I live in Indiana, I play in Chicago, but I live in Indiana. Ain't nowhere in the world I'm gonna leave here and go to Waukegan for $100. That's just not happening. It's just not happening. I'm sorry, I love you, but it ain't happening, bro. It just ain't happening. Okay? So yeah, second one. Now this gonna knock y'all off the foot. If I come out of town with you, the very least you could do is give us a food per diem. This food per diem could be anywhere between $50, $100, $150, depending on how much you can afford. Why is this important? Because we're coming out here working for you. The least you can do is give us food per diem. You can't tell us the world can treat you better than church people. This is the issue. A lot of people think the world treats you better. They absolutely do. They give us a food per diem. Now, some of these artists do give me food per diem. I played for a couple of artists that gave me a food per diem, but some of them don't. The food per diem. Just because they serve food don't mean I can eat it. Right now, we're starting this vegetarian thing. So if they got chicken, fried chicken, pork chops, and all this other stuff that I can't eat, then that means I'm going to starve. And that means I got to come out of my own pocket. No, give us a food per diem. That's just, it ain't got to be a whole lot, but a food per diem. Now, what do you mean by per diem? Do y'all know per diem mean per day? So if I'm there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, it should be per day. Give us a food per diem. It's been a lot of times when I've gone out of town, I have to spend my own money, where my expenses was more than what you paid. Now, why is this important? Because we've already established you can't pay us what they pay. So these are the least things you could do that'll make them be like, okay, because the thing is, the end goal is for them to turn down other gigs and come to play for you. That's the end goal. But you can't do that if you pay a $200 and their expenses $150. I think a food per diem. Now, do y'all think a food per diem is out of the question? Is that too much? Is that too much to ask? I don't think it is. A food per diem is not too much. I didn't say it had to be $300. Man, I got this air blowing at me. Sorry. Oh, shoot. Super pause. Wow. Okay. Here's the thing that's going to knock y'all out the park. Y'all ready for it? Paid rehearsal. Paid rehearsals. If the gig is not included with rehearsals, I love the ones that say, hey, this is the pay, this is for X rehearsal and the gig. Let me determine after that if it's worth it. Because you got to remember, that means I have to leave my house, go to your rehearsal, come back, go back to the gig, come back. So I have to attest for my gas, my travel. I have to attest for that. So the gig needs to make sense. So if it's all included, I can get that. But sometimes y'all be like, the gig paid $200, but you got 2 rehearsals. No, the rehearsals should be included. If you can't include it in the overall price, then guess what? Then pay me for the rehearsal, because you got to pay me for my time. Why? Because a night that I'm spending rehearsing with you is a night that I'm not out here making money somewhere else. You got to consider that. Because these people that like to say musicians go get another job. You know, I've only ever heard that in church. I've never heard that in R&B, in the pop world. My wife just came back from playing for Alessia Cara. And she no. If she can make that kind of money that they paying, why would she need to get a day job? Now, all tours in, I get what you're saying, but shoot, I take my chances. So no, I've only ever heard church people say that. Get another job. And that's a reality. That's a reality, I get it. But it doesn't mean that it has to be that way. Why does it have to be that way? No, the remedy is not playing for you. That's the remedy. The remedy is not playing for you and going to play these other artists that will pay me a working man's wage. Because if musicians need to work day jobs to make money, somebody forgot to tell BMI that. Somebody forgot to tell these other artists that are making millions that they should be bagging groceries at Piggly Wiggly. They forgot to get that memo to them. These musicians that's out here playing and got houses built from the ground up. Somebody forgot to tell them that they should have been working at Payless shoe store just to make an end. Nah. No. It's a reality if you playing gospel music. That's not what I'm saying. But why does it have to be that way? I'm just not understanding this mindset where church people feel like we got to cut corners and then say God is rich in houses and land. Those two things are battling each other like hell. You can't tell me your God is rich, but then you come and try to shortchange me. Where this riches coming from? If God is rich and you his child, where's this coming from? Where's this broke mindset coming from? Where you got to penny pinch me and then tell me I got to work a day job. What? It'd be different if I wasn't good enough to go out here and make some money somewhere else. And then what you do, you try to beat us to dust. Oh, you playing for the world. You playing for the world. You playing for the devil. Well, guess what? This is how I'm feeding my family. This is how I'm providing a better life for myself and my family. What are you doing? You just want to talk it. They walk in it. What do you expect me to do? Because God, if you say God gave me this gift, why can't I use it to do the number one responsibility I got, which is my family, not your church, not your quote unquote ministry? So no, that's bull. I'm not going to say the rest of the word, but you already know there's a shift happening and it's full of bull in this mug. When you come telling a musician that's worth something that you need to work a day job. Nah. It's a reality. I won't knock it. It is. But it's an unacceptable reality because they could go somewhere else and play secular music and make way more money and be straight just doing what they love. Yeah. So I hope you guys are not mad. I'm just trying to help us. Pay rehearsals. That's not out of the ordinary. Ernest, I know you will. It may be good business on the church part, but it's still pimping. I agree. But I'm thinking the change needs to come with us as musicians. We need to put our foot down and be like, nah, we just gonna go somewhere else. Nah, I think it's time for a change. Another thing I think should happen, and this may be a little crazy, but I think we should have expense reimbursements. I think we should. As a bass player, I have to check my bass sometimes. I have to check a bag. I'm coming out of payment, out of money for this. There are some gigs out here where they pay you to check your bags. They pay for your bags anyway. Some gigs even pay up to 2 bags. They pay it. You ain't got to pay for nothing. You show up, check your bags, and go. They care about that in that way. But none of them are gospel. None of those people that I'm talking about are gospel. My friends that have played R&B, they say they pay for my bags to be checked. I'm a bass player and I got to carry another bag. No, that's an expense. There are other expenses that we actually get, as gospel musicians. And I know my gospel musicians, when I run this list, they're going to be like, oh, we have to pay for parking at the airport. And if you come from Midway or O'Hare, they ain't playing over there. And see, somebody like me, I park in the garage or I pay for valet parking. Why? Because it puts me right at the gate. I don't got to walk that far carrying a bass and everything. Now, my bass case got wheels. Shout out to Mono. It has wheels. It has wheels. I love that case to death. But that don't mean I want to lug that for 3 miles. Because if you ever went to O'Hare, that's a walk. That's a walk. But so you got to pay that for the parking to even do that. The bag checking. You got to pay incidentals when you get to hotels. Some hotels get up there. Some hotel incidentals as much as $100. Can you imagine walking up there and you got to pay extra $100? We got some musicians. Some of us ain't even got $100. But you got to pay that incidentals that they going to hold for a few days. Then you got to pay for the Uber rides. sometimes. You got to pay for your own Uber rides. These are expenses that I'm thinking that you should be reimbursed. If you got to rent a car to drive around all week for rehearsals, you should be reimbursed for that. You should be reimbursed for that. These are expenses that you are incurring. I want y'all to think about it like this. And this may be for you. You may be okay with that, and that's okay. I'm not knocking you because some of us are willing to do that. But you are really literally investing in a business that you do not own. Let me say that again. You are literally investing in a business that's not yours. Your name is not even on the ledger. It's not on anything. At any moment, they could drop you just like that. And you are incurring these expenses to help build something that's not yours. So you have to do some analyzation, musicians. Is this help catapulting me to the next level that I want to be? Is it moving me? Is it elevating me somewhere that I need to be? Is it worth what I'm putting out? Because if it's not, you might want to consider what I'm saying. Because these expenses get up there. I once played for an artist, literally left me at that at that airport. Did not give me a ride. And that hotel was not near. I ended up having to catch it. Well, this was before Uber. I had to catch a taxi there. And it costed me some money. Was I reimbursed? Nope. Because this weak person that I was at that time was like, it's okay. Hell no, it's not okay. This is not, the least they could do is get you to the venue in your hotel. Nah, it's not okay. It's never okay. It's never okay. Now, this one's going to be wild. This one's going to be wild. But imagine playing a gig that's on a Saturday, right? They fly you out on Thursday. You there Thursday and Friday, and the gig is on Saturday, right? I'm thinking you missed out on pay on Thursday, Friday. How many times have I seen a church musician go out of town and be like, hey, I'm open on Sunday if y'all got a church that need a bass player or need a drummer or whatever, right? Why? Because they flew you out and you ain't got a paid day. I'm thinking, now this isn't much, it's like a bonus. I know most of them not going to do this, but I'm thinking you should have paid travel days. I think you should be paid for the days you travel. I think you should. Oh, if the gig can afford it. Most of them can't. Like 98% of them can't. But you should have paid travel days. Especially if it's on a Friday. You fly me out on a Friday night. That's when a lot of you make most of your money. You got gigs on Friday. You got gigs on Saturday. And you got gigs on Sunday. Most of us play at church on Sunday. I'm going to get to that. But you are here literally missing work here for a gig. I know this is asking a lot, but I don't think it's out of the realm of, possibility where you could pay me for the travel days. That's not out of the realm, especially if you only paying me $250 for the gig. You can do that. I know some of you probably never even heard of this. But look, when you got people out here that play the gig for $500 but come home with $2,000, the gig $500, you be like, where'd the $2,000 come from? When you start, they pay me back for this, they pay me back for that. My expense, I put this down. What in the world? But here in the church, they think they did something, give you this $250. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. I hope you artists share this with them. Now, look, I know some of this is unrealistic for some of you. You just starting, whatever. But when you get to this point where your name is actually in places and you can charge this kind of money, consider this for your musicians, please. Consider this for your musicians. Consider it. Now, I know if you got a choir, you got more moving parts, certain things you cannot do, and that's understandable. But consider some of these things for your musicians. Consider it. Here's the kicker. A lot of musicians, we play on Sundays. And most times we make more on Sundays than we do for your gig. Now, this is where negotiation comes into play, musicians. You need to be able to negotiate what's going to happen in those instances. And you need to make a decision if it's worth what you're missing. Some of my organist friends, they're going to make $1,200 a week. This is probably their most paid day, right? The ones that are just strictly gospel. This is probably their most paid day. Imagine you missing out on $1,200 to make $300. Yeah, that's a tough pill right there. That's a lot for a lot of us. Me personally, it is what it is for me because like I do get paid at church, but it's not my only means for income. I actually have a couple of things. So for me, it ain't gonna mean that much, but it doesn't mean that it's right. It doesn't mean that it's okay for everybody. Some musicians need to be home. And I'm tired of people ripping up musicians saying, well, you need to find another job. This is their job. This is how they make their money. How we look judging them for how they make their money. This is how they make their money. This is what they do. Most Americans have a job that they have to work during the day. I don't know too many Americans that can't work. If you're in the less than 1%, then congratulations. But for the other 99.9% of us, we have to work. We have to punch a clock. And some of us, our clock is on Sunday morning. And if you're going to take me away from that, I'm thinking, just me, the bare minimum, balance it out. Pay me what I would miss. Can we do that? Can you pay me what I'm missing, or at least most of it? Or in an ideal world, you would pay me what I would miss on top of what the gig paid. I know that's like a hell no situation. I get it. But for me, I think we different because you don't pay like these other gigs. So some gigs you be like, I miss a Sunday, that's fine because, I'm making this and more. But you don't pay that. You paying $200, $250, $350 maybe, $400. But if I'm working at a church and they're paying me $600 per service and I'm playing 3 services, your $400 can't touch $1,800. And if you want me there, then at least you can consider that. And don't get mad when they bring it up. That's another thing. I want us to be able to negotiate without people getting in their feelings. You cannot negotiate with emotions. You negotiate with stats, figures, calculations, percentages. That's how negotiations are done. You don't negotiate with feelings. Some of you're too emotional to negotiate. You walk in the room already upset. Somebody say something to you about, I need more money. Now you ready to fight. Let them ask. Maybe they got a good reason to ask for more money. Or if you the artist and you want to go negotiate with them, they can't be upset with you if you cannot afford it. If the gig only paid $500, I can't pay you $450 if I got a 4-piece band. This is a long needed conversation between artists and musicians in these gigs. If you do not have a relationship with me, I don't really owe you nothing. I don't owe you nothing even if we have a relationship, but at least with the relationship, we got wiggle room. I can be there for you. And I think a lot of times in our industry, more so in gospel than any other, a lot of you want us to sacrifice for you, but you don't want to sacrifice for us. I really believe that we live in a time where, like, if we really, really needed you to sacrifice and go to bat for us, some of us, we don't trust that you will. Self-preservation will always be your number one goal. And that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. But I think if you missing a Sunday, which is our significant work day, granted, For me, they try to get me home, and I thank God for that. They try to get me home in time for my service. They do. But that may not be your thing. You may not be like if you busting it and you ain't got a airplane ticket to get me home, yeah, you might want to consider this because you're gonna have to deal with tracks. You have to deal with tracks. Now, these are the last two caveats I want to throw out there because a lot of times with gospel musicians, we get jagged on this one thing right here: the recordings. If you have a major record label backing you, there's a pay scale that should be in place. There's a pay scale that should be in place. I'm an advocate of musicians charging per song. I think musicians should charge per song. Don't let them lump that stuff together for you because most of the time it's going to be significantly lower. You literally doing a 15-song record for $700. Absolutely, positively not. Because if you get enough to record me and make money off of me, then I should be able to charge you my price. Because it ain't like you going to give me none of these points on this record. Because the first thing y'all going to throw out at us is the work for hire BS. That's the first thing y'all gonna do, which you should. But if you're gonna put me in a work for hire, there is no falcon way that you should be paying me $700 to do a 10, 12, 15 song album with gospel music where it's hits and licks everywhere. You ain't sending me no 1564 junk. You sending me 1564 3 4 4 4 up 5 5 5 spin 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 twist twist twist. These are the songs that gospel music is. I'm not knocking it. This is gospel music. But if you want me to play Chick Corea on bass for you, there is no way in the world you're gonna pay me $700 to do these songs. You have underpaid us for years and made so much money underpaying musicians, and you don't want to give them none of the crap that they created to make your songs dope. I'm getting ahead of myself. But still, stop underpaying musicians for records. You making money off of them. Somebody's getting paid. But the musicians, this is your fault too. You got to negotiate and you got to be willing to walk away from some opportunities. You got to be willing to do that. If they can't pay you, then let somebody else do it. Be willing to do that because you're going to take some L's. You're going to take some L's out here. But y'all not willing to do that. Because to get your name out here, you let them, oh man, don't worry about it. And your dumb aspiration will play a whole record that they going to make millions on and you got paid for 150. Come on, man. Charge per song. And if they can't pay you per song, then give a price for the record that you are comfortable with and treat it as if it's going to blow up. See, that's the other thing. You would do a record and be like, oh, well, no, because they wouldn't be recording if the record label, I'm talking about the majors, if the record label thought it was going to be shift, they would not record them. They don't just give money out just to say, give me a record. Every time they record, the record label said, you about to make us money. They have people listening to your songs and saying, this is going to be a good song. Keep the song on the record. They're not giving money to these people to put out some bullshit. No. So why would you undercharge like it's nothing? Treat every record like it's going to be a Grammy nominee. Treat every record like it's going to be that. And charge accordingly. If they got you on this record, don't let them shortchange you. Charge a price, negotiate, of course, but charge a price that you know if I listen to the song and I look and it's got 80 billion views, I got paid my price that I'm happy with this. Because you have to treat it that way. Would I be willing to clip the cert? I'm pretty sure my producer's going to make this happen. It's going to happen. And I think the real thing I really want to do is Artists and musicians build relationships. That's the best way to, if you really know you can't afford this, build relationships. Build strong relationships where people trust you. And how do they trust you? They will say, if and when you blow up, you're going to consider me and we're going to be straight. But you have to build that relationship. And I think a lot of times y'all move like y'all not trying to. Y'all move like y'all dang, what's that man name? Y'all move like y'all Donald Lawrence, but you really ain't. You like Ronald Florence. You not that person. You can't just be running through musicians like you run through women and draws. Thank you. Hot, hot. Brought my tea. Oh, that's good too. Thank you. So I'm hoping I'm helping you. This is the part where most gospel musicians get lit up on. Now, if this is all you can afford, then so be it. I don't play every recording charging millennium prices, but I have relationship with these people. I just did recording. And I would do it again. I love working for this. He might be here. Yeah, Anthony's here. I love working with Anthony. But you know what? Anthony respects me. And he pays me a price that's like really legit. He does. And I don't mind doing work for him. But we have a relationship. But if Anthony was like some gold come lately dude just hit my line talking about, I want you to play my recording, I'm going to charge him a Derek Hearne price. Because you wouldn't be calling me if you didn't think I could get the job done. You wouldn't. And we have a relationship. We cool. So he could call me. But I believe if I needed a vocal or I needed a song, I can call him. That's the biggest thing, relationship. And I'm about to close with this one. This is the last one because this is the big one. Production pay. Whew. This is one that's about to piss some of y'all off. Let me say this. As an artist, if you come with a song called Johnny Loves Jesus and Jesus Loves Johnny, and you have nothing else, then that musician sits down and come up with a great musical arrangement for you, you didn't produce that. Y'all produced that. And sometimes you can be very, very disrespectful to these gospel musicians when you give us a work for hire thing, slip, contract for songs that you know you didn't write alone. You didn't write the song, sir, ma'am. If you didn't come with that song already done to the last piece, that person, that musician, is by all rights and purposes has just as much rights to that song as you do. Just as much. They can literally go to the copyright office and copyright that song, or go to BMI, ASCAP, or whatever, CCAC, whatever that other one is. I'm with ASCAP and BMI. But they can literally do that because why? Because they played a significant part of that song. In gospel music, I see this more than anything, where you'll come up with the lyrics, the musician come up with the music, and they don't get paid. Then most of the time, especially now, they don't even get credit for it. That's got to end. That is unfair. So no wonder why musicians in church need to go out and get other jobs, working Kentucky Fried Chicken. Because you don't want to do right by these people. Musicians need to learn how to negotiate and be willing to take an L. Stop writing these people songs for them. Because you're not getting paid your worth. How dare you come and make me pay? I'm playing a whole record for $500, but then on top of that, I got to do this. And some of y'all so happy-go-lucky you want to do arrangements. You give out your best arrangements for people that ain't even paying. I did that for years. My best arrangements that you've ever heard, I didn't get paid a dime above plan. That was me. That's my fault because I'm the one supposed to negotiate that. But some of these people know they pimping you. And that's the difference. You say the world treats you better. We're supposed to be honorable. We're supposed to be the ones that look out for our brothers and love them and treat them with respect and dignity. not take their musical arrangements, put your name on there and say, I wrote the song, you didn't. Because most of y'all songs, quite honestly, don't be that good without the music. It don't. I like lyrics. So my favorite writers, they know they got lyrics in there. I like songs that tell stories. I got A+ in English lit and all this stuff. They wanted me to change my major from technology to journalism. So I can appreciate a good writing ability. But most of y'all songs, y'all be like, Jesus is my king. But man, my song's so dope. You Negro, you wrote 4 words. The band did all the rest of it. But but when we look at the record, it's got Derek Hearne, ASCAP, 2025. But the other people that contributed to it, name is nowhere to be found. But you go to an R&B, you see this person, literally like 5, 6 people on that song. Why? Because everybody gonna get their cut of that pie. But in gospel music, not only do we see your name, we see your publishing, your face on the record and everything else. It's almost like you did it yourself, but you didn't. You didn't. I see this happen too much. I do. Now, the only people that are upset outside of the devil is the people that are guilty of all of this stuff that I just talked about. They're guilty because they're upset right now. They're upset. They're burning up. I didn't call nobody name. I didn't put nobody on blast. So you shouldn't be upset. But if you are upset, my inbox is open. Some of you know my number. We could talk about it, but I'm not attacking anybody. I'm really encouraging my musicians to look at this stuff and the artists to look at this stuff and how we treat each other in the church. Because if we go back to this post, we see this is what I covered. And I really, to be honest, in a word, yes, the world treats their musicians better than the church. Across the board. There are always some instances. I just been blessed to be in some decent to great opportunities. But most of us don't experience this stuff. We on these bus trips not getting paid to eat. Everybody getting off the bus get something to eat. And if you ain't got no money, which is a reality for some musicians, especially starting off, you gonna starve. That's the real. So I only wanted to encourage you, but to my musician friends, we need to unify. We need to come together and have a union for us. Musician union for gospel musicians. We need to have that. And I don't even know if it's a Black Gospels union. Somebody can do that research for me and let's see if we can find it. But if not, it's high time we start to have one. And here's the thing. Here's the kicker. All of you need to be involved. I don't want this to turn into a situation where the union standard is $250, but then they say, well, we'll do it for $75 because it blows everything up. That needs to stop. Because you can get on stage with your buttless chaps and you ready to kiss some butt to get your name out there. But in the end, when you get to like 30, 40, and even 50, you're going to look back at your life and be like, I ain't really do nothing. I didn't do nothing but make them famous. I didn't really do nothing for myself. And that's a horrible place to be in. Horrible. I was just about to ask that. How were you able to get the opportunities you had? I think I was just blessed and lucky. But make no mistake about it, coming in, it was just like I just said. It was just like I said, and somebody had to negotiate. Somebody had to go to the table and make things better. There's no perfect gig over here. There's no perfect gig. It's always some give and take. And like I said, it's always for the musician to decide how much is worth it for them. But I'm saying, don't let these people pimp you, because some of them will. They'll be like, man, this is a great opportunity for you. Now, if you're a musician, you know you cold, and you know you get opportunities that you can jump on, don't let them pimp you. I just got lucky. I found a great church that I'm at right now, a great Sunday situation that's great. They respect me. I respect them. And it's a great working relationship. It's a great personal relationship. My gigs that I play for, I know these people. I've been with them. I consider them to be family. Like I said, there's no 100% perfect situation, but it's not horrible. I actually enjoy it. She said she don't know many gospel musicians. It's already in the American Federation of Musicians, the church, and most of these gospel artists aren't following the rules. Well, that's a big part of it. They're not following the rules. But I want to know, Janetta, if we can put our pause in advance, heads together, and come up with something that's strictly for us. Strictly for us. Not under the umbrella of another entity. Strictly for us. And maybe we can put something together. At least brainstorm it and see what we can come up with. But it's not gonna work unless all of us involved. I would love to see that. So I hope you enjoyed the live. I hope you enjoyed it. I had fun doing this. I really did. I thought it was great for me to tell you from my perspective. Um, yeah. If you have any questions, I open I open the floor. If anybody want to have a question for me, I'll give you a couple of minutes. If not, then I'm gonna get off of here and enjoy the rest of my evening. But I couldn't let this night pass without talking about it. And this is not a shot at anybody. You know me personally. I don't do that. But it is a call to action. It's a call to accountability, for all of us, for musicians and for the artists. And I hope that we can build great relationships, great business relationships, great working professional relationships. I'm all about relationships. I'm not about pimping. I'm not about taking advantage of people. And I surely don't like narcissism. I don't like it. Yes, we can. There's another union-like group in Chicago. Super low key. I have my thoughts. Okay, we could talk about that. Thank you. But yeah, I'm gonna wait. What do you typically charge for bass on one track from a person you don't know? Who, that's a good one. It depends on the track, Bobby. If it's like ABC, I'm usually charging anywhere between somewhere around 250. If it's ABC. If you don't have a backing, see, that's my thing. I have a heart for people. If you don't have a major record label backing you, then we can talk. And I'm usually person to person, but off rip, I say 250 per track. Off rip without hearing it. Now, if I get it and you want me to go crazy and you want me to do all that, then I'm gonna charge more. But sometimes if it's just a ABC song, I might charge less depending on how long it take me to get done. I'm all for helping people, but I won't let you pimp me. I know talking to you. No, Ricky Dillard style with all the hits. Oh no, that's minimum 250 and up, maybe more, depending on the record label. Yeah, it may be more. Cause y'all be wanting me to go crazy. Like I literally did a track for somebody and I played the song, y'all Negroes play pocket, they pay the bills. I play a song, play a pocket, and then you come hit me up, man, be aggressive. I open up a little bit more. No, man, I want you to kill it. Then why did you tell me all y'all people that say play pocket, you full of you are, because that ain't what they asking me to do. They be calling me, be like, D, I want you to give me that sauce, bro. Like, wait, pause. Oh, whoa, super pause. They be like, D, I want you, man. Come on, D. What? But yeah, I say 250 to start. Yeah. So if you got a track, my wife can record too, by the way. She can record too. She dope. They ain't flying her out to the world for nothing. So yeah. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will be back Monday. I got some other things to talk about, but I did want to. Oh yeah, they don't know. Well, yeah, that's true too. What sauce? Yeah, I said pause. I said ultra pause. I did say super pause, bro. I promise you I did. I promise you I did. Y'all gonna make me go crazy. Jeez. How do you navigate gatekeeping and pimping? Um, that's a good question. You know, this gatekeeping thing, that's kind of new to me. Like, my wife has told me about it. Some other musicians told me about it. I guess, man, the gatekeeping part, man, I've never had to deal with that. You know, most of the people I deal with, they usually okay with letting you do. You know, they don't try to block your opportunities. They don't try to say you got to go through me to do that. They just pretty much be like, move out the way. Now that's shifted. Some of people in my generation, they want to try to block people from doing stuff or whatever. I never had to deal with that. So I can't speak to that. But the pimping I dealt with. Oh yeah. I mean, it was one point in time, man. I had like, a thong out with some heels with a whip in my hand on the street for some of these gospel artists. I mean, they was pimping. They pulled up and be like, you better have my money. And they was backhanding me, spreading their fingers out to make sure they covered every part of my face. Yeah, I got pimped in my life. I ain't gonna hold you. I got pimped a lot. So everything that I'm sharing with you is pretty much me telling you to not experience what I had to go through coming up. So the pimping part, how do I deal with it? Well, because I've been pimped so long, I know the pimp. I know their language. I know what they do. The first thing they want to try to tell you is, man, hey, this is a great opportunity. This group for exposure. That exposure line, oh my God, this great exposure. It's not exposure. What about these churches that you gotta run your opportunities to in order to get projects outside of the church? Kind of expound on that. I'm not sure if I follow what you mean on that. But the pimping part, yeah, back to you. The pimping part, Frederick, yeah, I've experienced that a lot. Then you just got to pick up. They all the same. The exposure thing. You know what I'm saying? They do that, or they shoot you a lot of dreams. Man, we got this coming up. We got this coming up, man. If you do this for me, man, trust me, man. This kid, no, no, no. If I don't know you like that, bruh, you gonna pay me my price, so I'm gonna be at home. And that's where I have to be. And I've been this way for some time now. I'm not doing that because like I said, I navigate the pimps by picking them out. I can hear their language. They shoot you a lot of bull. The only thing that's gonna move me is that check or that direct deposit in my account. Like some of these people, they shoot me my direct deposit before I even leave the house. I love that. Those people can hire me again. I've heard some people having to ask their pastor to sing on other. Oh, now see, that's some. Oh man, now see there. I've heard of that too. They need to leave that church. The pastor's job is not to dictate what you do with your talent, no differently than they can tell me what to do with my IT degrees. They can't tell me I can't work in another company and set up their network. They can't. Not even my day job can do that. What I do when I leave my day job is my business. So a pastor cannot dictate to you what you can and can't do. And I've heard of this before. It's very disgusting, but I would leave that church. That's not your pastor, it's your pimp. That's what pimps do. They try to hoard you to themselves. They don't want you to have other opportunities because they don't want you to leave. That's what a pimp does. No, we ain't doing that. Churches should not make you ask permissions to do anything. It's not their job. Now, if you going to sing at the house of Satan, then I can see your pastor being a little bit disturbed. But if you not going to sing for the house of Satan and you ain't got to sing lyrics that say Satan is my king, then I don't see the point in trying to stop you from going out and making money, especially if they not paying you that money. If they not making you rich, then you should be able to do what you need to do. Now, if they paying you $800,000 a year, then yeah, you probably want to rethink that. But if they not, you need to go make that money, bruh. It's really that simple. Because your first priority ain't to their church. Your first priority is to your family. That's your first priority. Number one above all, and it's not even a close second. That's your first priority is your family. So forget what that pastor talking about. If he ain't for to pay you and you got to go make that money, I wouldn't even say nothing to him. If he come and try to put me on blast or whatever, then we going to have a discussion. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be talking. I'm not sure. But at the end of the day, you still have, you got stuff you got to do. You got businesses, you got things, aspirations, and you don't get those kinds of things. See, if you at a church that's a mega church where people are watching and they following, then you might have some room. But most of these churches ain't nobody seeing you. So if you're a performer, if you're an entertainer, or if you're a singer, how can somebody see you? You stuck in the four walls of somebody else's church. That's not good for you anyway. No, you gotta get out here. And if you're a smart pastor, them being out there is bringing more attention to you because people may follow them to your church. They be like, man, I want to see more of her. I might want to see more of him. And they'll tune into your live stream. Hopefully you ain't on your live stream making preachers going wild. But still, how do you balance the job, church, and outside engagements? Okay, this is a good question. My day job, luckily, is I'm an admin. So most of the time when I get up in the morning, I'm doing little things here before I even leave. And then when I get to the job, I'm admin. So, I'm there, I do my job, and I go home. That's during the day. The church is usually on the weekdays is Tuesday and Wednesday. So rehearsal and then service. And then Sunday, is the day the Lord's worship. That's the day. So that's my week. My day's I love my day job because they so flexible. It's the job getting done kind of thing. Like if she asks me to check the internet or make a flyer or do something like that, then I do that. And I can do that from anywhere. We got 2 locations now and the upcoming 3rd one. So I'm usually working from home or I'm there at the center. So it's really, really flexible. Like when I have to go out with Ricky or something like that, they be like, okay, we see you and get back. They not tripping like that. It's really, really a great situation for me in my day job. With the gigging, I don't do as much as I used to because possibly because what I'm doing here, the discussion, it's not worth me giving up my day job. It's not worth me giving up what I got going on. It's not worth it, for me to do that. It's not worth it for my family. I don't want to be gone all day. That's not sustainable. So for me, I wanted to be home. So a lot of stuff I turned down. And I mostly just do stuff, around the city or whatever. And then when Ricky goes, then I go there. But those are usually just one-offs. We don't do tours like that. And I'm thanking God for that. But we don't do tours. Like some of y'all want to go and be gone months at a time. That doesn't really happen like that for gospel music. Most of the time we there a couple of days at most, 3 days maybe. But usually it's there and back, there and back. So that's how I'm able to balance all of that. So yeah, it can be hectic at times, but for the most part, it's not. How long does it take you to actually learn those complex gospel songs? Like how many hours you put in to learn a song? Um, Not long for me. I've been doing this for so long that I understand where it's going before it gets there most of the time. Um, so like if you send me a very difficult song, I could probably have it. Maybe if I'm sitting down with the bass, maybe 30 minutes, hour. Depends on what the song is. But no more than an hour. I can guarantee you that. I haven't ran into a gospel song that made me stay longer on it than an hour. Most of the time it's just 30 minutes at tops, no matter what it is, because I know gospel music so much. And I mean, I know my scales a little bit. I know modes. So I think the only thing that may throw me off is the timing of some of this stuff. And that's what rehearsal is for. You get because you get with the MD and you be like, okay, I can't catch this time. And what is it? And then I need repetition with that. But most of the time to learn the songs, no. The hardest gig I ever played in life is Kenny Lewis. Kenny Lewis stuff is the hardest stuff I ever played in life. I played some James Fortune. I played for James Fortune one time, and that was in Iowa with Samurai. But that stuff wasn't even all that hard. This dang Kenny Lewis stuff is crazy. Go listen to Kenny Lewis records. I had to play that. I don't know how Thad doing. I want to smoke whatever he take, but that's the hardest. But it didn't take me long to learn it. Like I said, the timing of some of that stuff I needed to get refreshed on or whatever. But to learn a song, it's not that long. No, he doesn't do tours. Ricky mostly does one-offs. He's there in the city, then he's gone. And then like mostly like in a weekend or something like that. We don't do it like that. Most gospel artists don't do it like that, though, to believe it or not. They may have 1 or 2 tours a year, and usually they got to stack it up for people to even show up, which is a whole nother live. I'm about to listen. Oh, yeah. Please go listen to Kenny Lewis. Do you normally chart out or by ear? Most of the time, which is crazy. It's gonna trip you out. I mostly only chart ballads. That's crazy. I only chart ballads. The upbeat songs, I don't chart those out. I don't know why. I've always been this way. I mostly only chart out the easy joints, because I'm not gonna really spend a lot of brain space on those songs. So I chart it out one, and I put my bars. So I usually do my bars. I don't do my bars vertical. I do my bars horizontal. So I go one, then I go bar, one bar, then I go one. And if it's like a half note, I go one, and then I put a space and I go two. So when I'm looking at my charts, I know one is half note and then the two is there. If I know if it's like say for instance, we do a great turnaround, we may go 6-2. We may do that, right? So I don't put 6-2. I put a parentheses in 6, and then I do the 2. So in my mind, when I see that parentheses, that means it's a turnaround. It's a quick 6-2. So 2 is the dominant note, the root, but it's gonna go 6-2. So I'll chart that out for the ballads, and that's the way I usually did. I did that for Kenny Lewis. I had the slow songs charted out in my tablet. And the upbeat songs are pretty much the only one I had it charted was the church one. That's because it got like 4 different things, and I just pretty much charted that out. But for the most part, I only chart out ballads. Yeah. But I'm glad you asked that question. But go ahead and listen to Kenny Lewis, y'all. I'm about to jump off of here and enjoy what's left of my night. But yeah, if you have any other questions, do you play jazz music? Yeah, I actually do. I play jazz like crazy. I haven't done a jazz gig in a while, but I still listen to a lot of jazz, and when I'm practicing, I do a lot of jazz skills. My wife be looking at me like I'm crazy because she be looking like you smoke crack or you do something. But for the most part, yeah, when I'm practicing, I do all these skills and modes that I would in doing a jazz song, or I try to figure out different ways to do different things. And I don't play pocket when I practice. I pretty much go for blood. As if it's a whole crowd out there. But yeah, I still play jazz music. I may get back into it. I just haven't really, seen too many jazz artists here that I want to actually play for. But I'm actually, believe it or not, I'm more into playing R&B these days. Are you doing a thought of doing online teaching? Yes. My wife and we're doing one, and I'm going to actually post the what is it? She gonna be mad at me. Uh Interest form. It's an interest form that's coming out very, very soon. So that's actually in the works. Remember, I told you that was in the works. So we actually have the form. It's an interest form, and I want to see your level. She's most likely going to teach the beginners, intermediates, or whatever. And I may teach some intermediates or whatever, but I'm thinking I'm more likely going to teach more advanced classes for band, bass players that kind of know how to play but want to take their playing to another level. They want to do more chops. They want to be more expressive. That would be what I focus on when I do my lessons. But she's definitely going to she's posting the Google link. Oh, it's done. Added the pic today. Okay, great. So she jumped on it. She was hitting my inbox today. I'm at work trying to navigate the kids to get out, and she's sending me logos and stuff like that. But it's dope, man. Hey, we got logos. We got all that stuff going on. She probably gonna post the link somewhere. But yeah. But if you have any other questions you want to ask me about bass, about gospel music, about, anything like that, please, man, I'm here for you. Just ask me. I don't care. I will answer. Anybody that's ever inboxed me, know I'm willing to help you get where you're trying to go. And I think that's great for both of us because I get to hear from you. I get to understand where, you want to be in your bass playing and gospel music journey. And I'm more than happy to help you get wherever God is preparing you to go. And I hope he's taking you to a higher level than I could ever be, which is what it's about. You guys encourage me, I encourage you, and together we can make some great things happen. I love you. Take care. Answer this question. I know I jumped back on, but I'm about to go. Here I come, babe. Do you do music full time or have a day job? I have a day job. I have a day job and I do music when I'm not at my day job. And I balance the two by the grace of God. I find time to do time management. I find time to put everything together. I mostly practice early in the morning, no, most of the time before I leave or when I get up. I may pick up the bass. I'm not doing it tonight, but I may pick up the bass every now and then, pluck on it or whatever. I try to stay up to date where music is going, especially bass wise. So if you was to hear me last year, you hear me this year, you may hear slight differences and things that I wasn't doing, and I think that's important. But I found a way to balance it. It's about time management. It's about time management and, not trying to overextend what you can do. And I'm still trying to find time to find for me. And that's why I'm having vacation. I thank God I got 3 weeks that I'm going to take a vacation. And my wife trying to get me to go to Disneyland. And I think that's going to happen. I'm going to punch Mickey Mouse in his throat. But anyway, I'm about